On this episode of Inside the Blueprint, we'll learn how to find the best shipping solutions for your business, gain insight into biomedical research and development, smart lighting innovations, plus lots more. Do you have knowledge of your company's shipping expenses? Understanding shipping costs allows a company to manage and control its expenses effectively, while also driving efforts to make shipping operations more efficient. Now, imagine being able to reduce those costs by 10, 20, or even 30%. With a little help from the experts, you can learn to ship smarter and save. Let's go inside the blueprint.
I started CPC Consultants in 1998 with the singular mission to help shippers save money with freight cost. I go into a customer's transportation spend and do some deep dive forensic analysis. I determine how much they're spending today. And I also have a lot of insight and reference material that tells me how much they should be spending. And the difference is savings in their pocket. So our engagement starts with a free assessment. Free assessment is no risk and no obligation. It allows us to see what's under the hood in their transportation spend, and when we find significant savings, then we can offer a proposal at that time. The CPC guarantee is very simple. If we do not deliver the promised savings, the client does not have to pay. It's an all or nothing guarantee.
CPC Consultants are the world's best kept supply chain solution secret. There's nothing to lose, except potential savings they never knew were available.
Being a shipper in my past life prior to CPC actually enables me to understand what's going through the mind of our clients who are shipping managers and shipping executives. Having that insight enables us to deliver a very high value proposition to them. We work exclusively with the shipper and not for the carriers. And this is a huge advantage because we only focus on their needs and not the needs of a carrier. Over the past 25 years, we've developed expertise as well as tools and templates so we can speed up the procurement process of transportation.
Shipping costs directly affect profit margins. Being aware of these costs helps in calculating accurate profit margins on individual products or orders.
I spent 35 years in the other side of the consulting world. I was on the shipper side, and I believe that I had the best transportation rates in the industry. When I was at Kawasaki, we did work with CPC. CPC Consultants were the first guys that truly I believed had my success in their best interests. They did not make money until I made money. And with a free assessment and guaranteed results, CPC proved that I didn't know what I didn't know. They showed me that by going with their assessment, that ultimately I could save millions of dollars. And with their guaranteed results, we did save, and we saved a lot of money. And they covered the entire gambit of modes. Air, LTL, which stands for less than truckload, ocean, and small package. CPC came in, saved us money 3 different times over 10 years, covered our budget, and made us look very, very, very successful within the organization. My job right now is to work with that shipping community and get them to actually recognize the same savings that I have basically enjoyed over the past 35 years and most recently with Kawasaki over the past 10 years.
And what are others saying about CPC Consultants?
Over the years working with CPC, my experience has been one of mutual trust and integrity. I would recommend CPC to any of our clients. I find their process is above board, it's honest, it's measurable, and it's guaranteed, which I don't see a lot in our industry from other consultants. I've seen the results from our clients, I've seen the savings, and I've seen the fact that what's put in place is sustainable. CPC is a valuable asset to any of our customers, and I'd be happy to recommend them.
Once we finish a project and we secure the lowest prices possible for the shipper, we lock up all of the promises made during that process with the carrier in a contract. And these contracts hold these carriers accountable to service, cost, and quality. If you have not done a transportation assessment in the last year to year and a half, the time is now to save money and to make your operations much smoother.
For more information about CPC Consultants LLC, visit their website, cpc-consultants.net. And of course, visit our website at insidetheblueprint.com. Developing new drugs, vaccines, and diagnostics is a detailed process, one that can take years to complete. One of the most important parts of this process is the development and production of quality recombinant proteins and antibodies. Sino Biological Incorporated is at the forefront of this industry.
Recombinant proteins and recombinant antibodies are reagents which are utilized in basic biological research, but they're also utilized in biomedical translational research. So scientists in academia as well as industry utilize proteins and antibodies when they discover new pathways and cascades in cell biology and human physiology, but perhaps more importantly, they use them to design and develop and discover new vaccines and therapeutics and even diagnostic kits. Sino Biological was founded in 2007 as a spin-out of MIT, and it's based upon technology which allows for the use of mammalian cells to manufacture and produce recombinant proteins and recombinant antibodies. Sino Biological has the world's largest collection of full-length bioactive recombinant proteins in stock and in our catalog. And in addition to that, if we don't have the protein or antibody that a client needs, we have a full slate of custom contract research services which will allow us to design and develop and produce that protein or that antibody for that client. And in this respect, we actually focus on the most difficult to manufacture proteins, those that no other companies can actually manufacture and develop.
So we at Sino Biological produce the proteins and antibodies recombinantly. That means we start with a gene encoding the protein of interest. We clone it into a vectors and we transfer into the host cells. By harnessing the intrinsic protein production machinery of the host cells, we are able to express and harvest the protein from them and polish them into high concentration and high purity. Actually, it's more like a collaboration relationships between us and the customers. So they don't need to spend the time on the production. They can spare their hands and time to do the research that really want to focus on. So we will provide them the reagents and the project, all the kinds of information they want to data they want to obtain from the production.
In Sino Biological's Research and Development Department, we have over 250 scientists that focus on the generation and development of next generation recombinant antibodies and proteins. Sino Biological has about 120 individuals in production and manufacturing and has over 100 scientists in its quality control department as well.
We developed and produced the COVID spike proteins, which is the key reagents, in record of 11 days in Jan 2020. And after the first wave, there were continuously emerging new mutations. So we launched multiple platforms, including the protein productions for the variants of all the Greek letters, the antibody production, and pseudovirus crow service. It is very rewarding feeling to work for Sino Biological. Every time I talk with a customer, I actually feel that I'm contributing to the research. I'm helping them to understand a little bit further about the disease, about the treatment. So it's not just about selling the product, but it's actually seeing that we are helping a little bit in the biopharmaceutical field.
Therapeutics and diagnostics development takes considerable time and expense. But Sino Biological streamlines this process with its comprehensive bioreagents and contract research services offering. For more information, visit their website, sinobiological.com, or watch this segment again at InsideTheBlueprint.com. Launched in 2000 in Gardena, California, a small company dedicated to the idea of environmentally conscious, sustainable production of lighting products, Visionaire Lighting quickly expanded in both reputation and size.
From the beginning, we started doing smaller scale jobs, everything from parks to sports facilities, and then got into automotive lighting. And as the company grew, we got into more large scale projects like smart cities and street lighting.
Fred, the president and owner of our company, was also involved in tennis, and so they wanted to start doing tennis lighting. And so we initially started by lighting tennis courts with HID, or high intensity discharge lamps.
Our company initially started with just assembling products, and over the years, we brought more and more processes in-house. Now today, we are a completely vertically integrated company who manufactures all of its different components here in our facility.
The advent of commercially viable solid-state, or LED lighting, was the first significant change in the industry in over 100 years.
The new technology that Visionaire has and why it's going to make us stand out is because an open platform, it's a single pane of glass. Currently, in today's lighting market, if I am with a university or if I'm with a city, I want to be able to control my lights, I want to be able to control my parking sensors, my oxygen sensors, any kind of thing, and any time I want to do that, I have to do that on a separate login, a separate program. What's unique to Visionaire is we're an open protocol, which means we have different devices from different manufacturers that we could bring in and all operate on our own user interface.
Because solid-state lighting was essentially a small computer, it enabled other connected devices to interface with lighting for the first time at this level. This was the birth of smart lighting.
The technology that I developed was a platform, a very agnostic, unique platform where we could have multiple softwares on one pane of glass. So I could actually take it to where I could bring in 3 or 4 different types of software, bring it into one, and be able to visualize everything on a single pane of glass.
In the light fixtures there's a real estate. There's a platform inside there which allows that. The light itself's not detecting that movement, but there would be a computer or brain chip that's inside that platform that allows you to be able to signal what's going on based on the camera.
Visionaire manufactures its own printed circuit boards in-house in its Surface Mount Technology, or SMT, facility. Each board is individually tested and analyzed for quality. This ensures the elevated level of product quality and longevity.
We have robots doing injection molding, making the optics for our LED fixtures. We have a SMT room, which is surface mount technology, which will pick an LED off of a reel and place it onto our printed circuit board. We have a pattern shop, or sandcasting for die cast.
Just like the smartphone's evolution over the years, Pangea Link technology will integrate with applications we haven't even imagined yet. There's a street light almost every place you look, which can support this technology in the future.
When you talk about the future and the application, it's really unlimited, and it's allowed us to continue to keep desiring the city's wants and needs and learning them as they're learning them at the same time.
The great thing about our technology is it's really future-proof. Because we are an open-ended platform, that means that whatever you have currently today, if you're happy with it, that's great, but if you realize you have a need and you need to incorporate something else into that system, you could do that in the future. So if you want to bring cameras onto it, if you want to bring smart water meters onto it, you're allowed to do that in the future because it's an open-ended platform.
The future for Visionaire is actually very, very bright. We're really developing things today and future-proofing our fixtures to where people can actually have access to this stuff 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. As you know, software never stops. It's always an evolving thing. So in some cases, we know where we are today, but it could change in 24 months. It could be a totally different technology. So we're trying to stay on the cutting edge of that.
For more information about this new technology, please visit visionairelighting.com. Where does innovation come from? More often than not, it stems from a need or a problem that requires a solution. This is what inspires the engineers, technicians, and research scientists at Owens Corning. Owens Corning is not only a world leader in insulation, they've taken it to a whole new level altogether. Insulation used to be thought of as just a way to keep in and/or keep out heat and cold. But the folks at Owens Corning have been developing and manufacturing some of the most dynamic and functional insulation in the biz. Now, when talking about insulation, you should include descriptors like acoustics and fire resistance. In a business where innovation is the name of the game, Owens Corning isn't afraid to push the envelope to stay ahead of the competition.
My name's Julian Francis. I'm the president of the insulation business at Owens Corning. And in that capacity, I have accountability for the global operations of the insulation business. Today, Owens Corning consists of 3 businesses: our roofing business, our insulation business, and our glass fiber reinforcements business, all really founded on the basis of glass fiber, the invention back in 1938. And then after the post-war boom in construction of single-family homes, the insulation business really started to take off. Residential construction is probably where we're most famous, with our iconic pink insulation that was introduced as early as 1950s. In 2013, we bought into a business, we acquired a business called Thermafiber, which is a mineral wool product. So actually it's made of waste material from steel manufacturing, but it melts at a much higher temperature, and so it's very, very good at both its thermal performance, but also its fire-resistive properties.
Angie is a technical services leader with Owens Corning, who develops fire control systems using mineral wool as insulation.
Owens Corning Thermafiber pioneered the first perimeter fire containment system. And we designed these life safety systems around our mineral wool insulation products. And so it's systems like this that we install in some of the high-rise buildings like One World Trade Center. So a perimeter fire containment system is constructed primarily out of mineral wool insulation. And really, the mineral wool insulation is the workhorse behind the assembly, just because it can resist very high temperatures for a very long period of time. We have containment systems that offer protection up to 3 hours, so that it allows more time in a building for people to evacuate safely. Here we have a representation of a curtain wall in an exterior high-rise building. We see the Thermafiber Owens Corning mineral wool insulation is covering and protecting a portion of that exterior wall. The critical part of the assembly, though, is really the barrier. And this is where you have a joint between the floor slab and the exterior curtain wall. Now imagine if you did not fill that void with any material, fire would have a free path to spread from floor to floor.
Today we're using the ASTM E84 Steiner tunnel to assess the surface burning characteristics of our mineral wool insulation. So in the E84 tunnel test, the sample is top loaded in a ceiling orientation so that when the flames come up, they hit the bottom of the sample, just like on every sample, even comparison samples. From there, it depends on what the product is made of. We'll then determine how far down the flame front travels down the surface of the material. These are the results from the ASTM E84 Steiner tunnel test. We get a flame spread index and a smoke developed index, and those help us meet the codes.
This particular apparatus is the E119 small scale quarter wall test. So basically this is a wall furnace, and this would be our mock curtain wall insulated with the mineral wool insulation. And we would have a window opening here on the full scale test. We'll fill this room with fire, and we'll get to temperatures well above 1800 degrees Fahrenheit to demonstrate the fire resistive performance of the wall system itself.
Owens Corning's Thermafiber insulation is not only flame resistant, but it also has noise reduction capabilities.
I'm Corey Taylor. I'm the technical lead for the Acoustic Research Center. This is where we design, develop, and evaluate the acoustic performance of our material. So we're going to be running our ASTM E90 test, and this evaluates the sound performance from room to room. The only way sound energy is going to get from our source room to our receive room is through the wall partition that we have in place. So we're going to start this test, and what we're actually measuring is the sound pressure levels over time. So these are the levels of our source room, and here we can see that we are about 95, 97 decibels in our source room. And if we look at the receive chamber, the levels in there are around 60 decibels, just a little under. So what that tells us is that the wall that we have in place is mitigating approximately 30 decibels of sound at this one particular frequency.
Not all Thermafiber products are created equal. We need different product designs for different applications. Our light density products are designed for interior applications to ensure that our homes are quieter, more comfortable, and safer in the event of a fire in a residential zone. On the other hand, our heavy density products are better used in perimeter applications on the outside of buildings to deliver that superior fire performance that is required.
We focus very deeply on the overall performance of the building. So not just from a thermal standpoint as when people think about insulation, but also acoustics, life safety, and then the overall performance of the building through a building science outlook, moisture protection, air infiltration. So many of these things we design into our products. It's not just about insulating a home thermally against cold or against heat, but also the performance of the building as a whole. Acoustics, fire, how it interacts with other systems in the building. And that means we just have to be experts in the building science.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, or to become part of Inside the Blueprint, go to our website, InsideTheBlueprint.com.